McIntosh from Driving.ca. You may know me from my new car reviews, but this time around, I'm going to look at an old car, my 1947 Cadillac. Now in 1947, this, believe it or not, was the smallest Cadillac that you could buy. This is a Series 61. It's a fastback, also known as a Sedanette or a club coupe. So to understand this car and where it sits today in the collector car hierarchy, you have to understand World War II. In 1942, automakers in the US had to stop building cars because they were making military supplies. And so when they restarted for the 1946 model year, they didn't have any new designs. They took the 41s, the 42s, they made some trim differences, and they brought them out as the 46s, the 47s. So my car sort of sits in this little bubble because they either want the 1942s and older, the pre-war cars, or they want the 48, 49 into the 50s where there were tail fins. So the 46, 47, it sort of sits by itself, but I loved it so much, that's why I bought it. I've actually owned this car since, I think, 1981. It's a Series 61. Cadillac named its vehicles by the series number, 61, 62. This one being a Series 61, it's the cheapie because it's built on the same body as an Oldsmobile or a Buick. And what you'll notice about that is, first of all, the B-pillar is curved. Secondly, it's got a little bit of a flange over the door. And when you go to the back, the license plate's in a different spot. On a Series 62, which was a far more popular car because it was a more prestigious Cadillac, that B-pillar is straight, the door is straight. But frankly, I like the look of this one better. I just think it's a beautiful car. Now you might notice the car doesn't look exactly stock, and it isn't. Now the body is untouched. The top is not chopped. Nothing on it has been altered, but it does have a little bit of a lower suspension. It has the spoke wheels, and there's a piece of chrome trim on the rear fender that doesn't belong there. The original one was chewed up even when I got it. You know, it was after the war, you couldn't get good quality stuff, and so these all disappeared and they're just not made anymore. So, you know, maybe one day I'll find a set, and I sure hope I do, but until then, that fills up the holes. Originally, this car had a 346 cubic inch displacement flathead V8 engine, and it also had a 3-speed manual transmission on the column, known as 3 on the tree, which was actually very rare. Most of them left the factory with a hydromatic automatic transmission. This might well have been the last Series 61 that was ever built with one. And I drove it original for 10 years, but after a while I started to have some issues with it, and I just wanted something that was reliable that I could drive all the time. So if you open up the hood, yeah, there's a Chevy 350 engine into it, but I can take this thing anywhere. Back when it was all original, I drove it from just outside Toronto to Detroit to the Henry Ford Museum, which was having a motor muster. I took it to the dinner at night and everyone said, well, where's your tow vehicle? And I said, I didn't bring a tow vehicle because I drove it here. Now the outside looks pretty good. The inside, okay, that's a work in progress. From the factory, it was a gunmetal gray. And when I got it, it was black, but the paint was old and it was cracking. So I had it repainted this because I like red, and that's actually the red off a Dodge Caravan back in the 1980s. This car has some unique features. For example, the script on the side of it. From 46 to 47, they look similar, but one of the differences is, on my car, it's written in script. On a 1946, it's block letters. Also, it was the first year for the crest to look this way on the hood, where the colors go all the way out to the V. The hood ornament's kind of cool. The car is called Lucille, that's her name. Actually, it's the name of the hood ornament, but the car has this weird tendency to follow her around. But she's actually how you open up the hood. You lift her up and you grab her by a certain part of her anatomy, and you lift it up, and that's how you open the hood. The gas cap is hidden under the reflector. Cadillac had a history of putting them behind lights. And this one actually has a locking cap from the factory. Now my future plans for the car, I'm going to put an interior in it, make it look good again. I already recovered the seats once, about 35 years ago. It's time to do that again. And that's the thing with old cars. You're always doing something to them, which is half of the fun it's all your money, but that's part of having a car, is keeping it going, having fun with it, and trying to make it the best it can be. And then I'm just going to drive it, because that's what they're for. And for Driving.ca, I'm Jill McIntosh.